Anybody can go into a yard sale, pick up an item like this and say, I got this for $2.50. I'm going to sell it for $250. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 50. So there it is, $250. Facebook Marketplace is a good place to sell. I don't care what anybody says. I feel like, without a doubt, comic books, especially comics anywhere from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s, definitely something that people attribute a lot of value to, when in reality they don't actually have that much value. I have sold probably 10,000 comics before in the last like 4 or 5 years, and I've never really made that much money from selling comics. It's always been something that I enjoy doing because I love comic books. But the fact that I'm about to sell, I think there's like 300 in this. So figure 3, 4.5, say like 500 plus this bin. It's probably like 650 comic books altogether. And I'm literally only getting 250 bucks for it. So after all the work of getting these, driving out to the auction in New York, picking them up, bringing them back, yes, I didn't pay a lot for them, but I'm also not making a lot for them. I could sell them on the auction, but the amount of time and effort put into listing them on the auction, selling them live on the auction, and then breaking them up into all the different groups of the people that bought them, shipping them out, that just takes up so much extra time that it's really not worth the extra effort at this point in my life. If I didn't have other responsibilities pulling me in different directions, I probably would do it. But I just feel like comic books are one of those things that everybody thinks has value. And they do. They have some value, but they just don't have as much value as you would think. So I'm about to go meet this guy over at the Target. That's where he wanted to meet. So I'm totally cool with that. I like meeting away from my house, especially if it's a decent amount of money. Like $250 is not bad. It's a decent amount of money. I could put it towards some other project or a different video or something. So like, I'm happy to get these gone. And I did sell a decent amount at the yard sale for $2 a piece. At that price, I'd be making, you know, a killing off of these. If I could sell every single one for $2 a piece, it would be a decent amount of money. But the chances of doing that are really, really low, because probably the people who bought the ones at the yard sale picked out the best ones. Yeah, it's a hard game. It's a hard battle. I know if anybody watching this buys and sells comic books, they probably already know that it's a numbers game. Like, you have to sell so many to really make a profit, or you have to just have really good old quality in shape comics that are actually worth money, which is not that common. I guess if I had to make a comparison, the comic books that I have in the back are similar to what people in the sports card business called the junk wax error. Kind of similar. It's like there was too many printed and too many people bought them and thought that they would be worth money in the future, and they never were. And also, after realizing that they didn't really have value, either from the beginning they were stored wrong, or they were stored wrong because people realized, like, I just bought a whole bunch of junk and I'm never going to get what I thought I was going to get for it, so just throw them in the corner of the shed and let them sit there. These ones were actually stored in a decent condition because they were from a comic book warehouse, most of them. But that also means that the comic warehouse knew that they were junk wax comics. I'm just claiming that term. It's not actually what they're called, because they wouldn't have sold them at 10 cents a piece, 20 cents a piece, 30 cents a piece. If they thought they had a lot of value, they would have just sold them elsewhere. Look at all these geese. There's like geese everywhere. This is a serious squad right now. And a lot of these are families too. Look, he's like, don't mess with my family. Love these geese. But yeah, we'll see how this sale goes. Should be a pretty straightforward, easy sale. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Where are you gonna put them, in the trunk or the back seat?
Probably the trunk, or actually the back seat.
Maybe, do you want me to pull on that side so we can get them out easier, or just take them out of here? It doesn't matter. Take them out of here. All right, cool. So here they all are. I did say I added extras, so like this box I think wasn't pictured, and then this stack was added. So like might have been added too, but they're not even comics, they're just what are you gonna do with these? Sell them? All right, cool. I mean, there's a lot there. It's a good amount. Thank you, though.
Why'd you get rid of them?
Well, I used to do these auctions. Have you heard of whatnot? Have a good day, dude. All right, let's say 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 50. So there it is, 250. Facebook Marketplace is a good place to sell. I don't care what anybody says. I wasn't flipping those anywhere else that easily, you know, person to person, money, cash in hand, anywhere else. There's not really another platform that would allow you that access. Craigslist used to be the king. It no longer is. The Craigslist king has fallen, and the new king is Facebook Marketplace. So you're not going to get top dollar like you would on eBay. But that's just, you know, the accessibility and the easiness of the transaction. Could you imagine shipping all that? That would cost $250 just to ship it. So there it is. Super success, and ready to move on to bigger. I don't even know if I say bigger, but just more sales, different things, and happy to free up the space at my house. Rather just turn my sheds into most of my storage space into storing items that I actually use for my YouTube channel instead of storing junk that I want to sell. I'd rather just sell it, free up the space, and use the space rather than just use it for things that I may sell in the future. If I held on to those for longer just to get $100 more, I'm just wasting all that space at my house. All right, let's go home. I got a lot to do today. So I just wanted to start uploading some videos here with some first-hand knowledge of behind the scenes of my business, or part of my business. I think that due to a lot of stuff posted on the internet, people think that reselling is a lot easier than it is. And I've personally moved away from reselling, or, you know, buying and selling items for a lot of reasons. It's just not really the full path I want to go down. And also, it's become harder to source items, I think, than ever before, with the jacked up thrift prices, with the amount of people doing it, and just the overall value to time and effort put in isn't really as high as people think. Anybody can go into a yard sale, pick up an item like this and say, I got this for $2.50. I'm going to sell it for $250. I've done it before, got caught up in it, took a step back, realized like this isn't actually true. Like there's so much more that goes into it behind the scenes. And just because you pick an item that you think has value does not mean it's worth what you think it's worth at first. And second, it doesn't mean it will ever sell, because something could have an extreme amount of value today because somebody wants it very bad, or like 10 people want it really bad at that time because maybe it's a trend or whatever the reasoning, like a new movie came out and it's attached to that movie, or like, I don't know, you see it all the time where Beanie Babies or things that just aren't as valuable as they once were become almost worthless. So just to be honest with all the viewers, I am moving slightly away from reselling. That does not mean I won't continue to do it, but I'm not going to spend as much time trying to sell individual items on either, say, like an auction or anywhere, unless it's a large item that has some value, or unless I just get it for straight up free and I can just flip it real quick. But like, I think the time and effort invested into going out, sourcing items, bringing them back, cleaning them up, making sure they work, posting them online, selling them, paying the fees, shipping them, paying the shipping, printing the label, all that stuff. The time and effort put in could be utilized in a different way. For me personally, I will always buy storage units, treasure hunt, trash pick, go to yard sales, even if it's just for my own fun. Go to thrift stores. I'll probably end up going to a thrift store today because it's on the way back from the dump and I got to dump a bunch of stuff. But I just want to say, like, the reality of the reseller in America today is not what you see on the internet. And it just, there's so many factors that go into it that just make it harder than it looks. It really is harder than it looks. Like, you have to be fully invested. If you're a full-time reseller, you don't have time to do social media. And if you do social media, it's very cut and dry. It's not well edited, constant, consistent content. There's no way. It's not possible. And if you can do that, you know, good for you. I have seen people flourish both on YouTube and in the whatnot space, or both on YouTube and in the live selling space, which makes a lot more sense if they have a team, if they have people selling and shipping the items and their main thing is sourcing the items, or say they have somebody filming and editing the videos and their main thing is shipping and editing. If they break it up and there's multiple people involved, it's totally doable. But it also brings with it a lot more overhead. So I guess the business advice that I would give to anybody watching this is figure out what works for you and your business and your place in the world. Like, location matters for sure. And go down that path and keep correcting yourself every day, every week, every month, every year, consistently, to get yourself into a position that works for your business. Because what works for me might not work for someone else. What I've seen what works for other people definitely not work for me. So just keep pushing, everybody. I would say off the top of my head, I pretty much only made... So, okay, I bought so many comics at the auction that I've already profited from them because I've sold them on the auction. I've sold them elsewhere where, like, I flipped a lot of them for more money than I sold the ones in this video for. And I got them in between, you know, 10 to 30 cents a piece. But I would say... So all the ones I sold in this video were profit at the end of the day. But I would say if that was the only lot I got and I flipped them like that, I might have made at the most $100 with all my time invested driving to New York, bringing them back, posting them on there, putting them at the yard sale, posting them for $100, maybe less. That would not be worth it. So, like, if I wasn't doing the YouTube videos, if I didn't have the following that were the ones buying them on the auction site, and if I didn't, you know, film the buying of them, the yard sale where I sold them, and then this video, which is more content, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Like, it would be unrealistic for that price. Were there some gems in there? Probably. But you got to focus on how much time and energy it is looking up each and every comic book and then posting it and actually getting that price for it, say, somewhere online. So, cheers, everybody. Let me know if you guys want to see more little, shorter videos like this that revolve around the ins and outs of my business. Keep pushing, everybody. See you in the next one.